Hey everybody, I'm Ben, and I thought I'd give you a quick rundown of some of the things I've had to deal with one of the tenants that we've had at Wallasey Plaza. Let me back up. The tenant that we had in there was a lady, and she worked at a local business in the area. She always prepaid her rent. We did background checks, all that type of stuff, prior to even letting her come in. We charge weekly for rent, which was never, no, we always do that so we can kind of keep up and make sure that tenants are, staying on track and things like that. We really have only had to evict one person in the time period that we have been doing apartments for the last, I don't know, 8 years or so, something like that. One of the things I wanted to talk about was we had a squatter that came in to one of the apartments. The lady that we were renting A210 to, she basically told us, gave money to a friend to pay for her rent because she had to go out of town for family emergency. No big deal. The guy came out of the apartment, and he says, "Hey, I'm going to be watching her stuff for a couple weeks while she's attending to a family emergency." Didn't think anything of it. Gave us cash, no big deal. Well, all of a sudden, the cash stopped coming in. I went over, knocked on the door. He says, "Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna bring some down. I gotta go pick some up." And for come to find out, she took off. Basically, told him that she wasn't coming back, and he could just stay there. And well, obviously, you can't do that when you're renting a building. So we didn't even know who this guy was. We go down to the Syracuse Police Department. They say, "Well, you're going to have to, it's a civil thing, you have to go evict him." And I'm like, well, we don't even know who it is. And so we were like, well, we fill out all the paperwork. I go down to the county, get all the other stuff submitted with our payment to evict. The courthouse clerk basically says, well, you can pay us, but the judge is just going to throw this out because what you have is a squatter, and they won't touch it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because he's like, well, eviction is between the landowner and the tenant. Well, the tenant is gone in this case, and it's with a relationship that's not even there. So she says, well, you probably need to go talk to the police, or the sheriff. And I'm like, well, the police department said to come do this. So I walk over to the sheriff department. I walk over and talk to Kyle Dukes, and I basically give him the exact scenario of what I just told you. He says, well, let's go look up this person, see if there's any warrants out or things like that they can kind of get him out with. And there wasn't anything. The person that was in there has been, had eviction filed against them, like 7 times in the last couple of years. So obviously this guy has a track record of moving in and never paying anything for rent. Regardless, he basically asked for an officer, to come and talk to the guy at his work, and told him that he had till noon today to get out. The guy got out, or the guy was out today. I went over at 12:30. The unit was pretty much empty except for a couple, junk shoes and stuff like that. But that was pretty much empty. And so he's now out. But the problem is that it took a month to go through that process. Now, the positive thing is if we billed monthly, we would just now know that this was a problem. So in the aspect, we would just be trying to get payment out of the person. But meanwhile, now we've got it, we'll re-rent it, and our apartments go pretty quick. So I'm not worried about that, and we should have that rented here in the next couple days. But we've got to clean up the apartment, and that's going to take some priority to get that all cleaned up. But that is my first experience with a squatter, and how I dealt with it, and how we got it out. But I can tell you that squatters are not great. He looked at it as, well, she just gave me the keys, and you're going to have to evict me to get me out. The guy knew the rules, but unfortunately he didn't know enough of the rules. So that's what I've been dealing with the last couple days with getting that tenant out. And it's really nice to get him out, but it's the frustrating part of business that I wish I did not have to deal with, because it makes it very hard for me to pay my bills. And when I'm trying to, basically I have people that just take advantage and just move in. It's rather frustrating. So what lesson did I learn on this? the moment that I found out that basically I can't trust anybody, I've got to hear things from the tenant's mouth direct, and if I can't, then we'll have them leave immediately. We'll call them for trespassing. So I basically have learned once again that you cannot trust anyone. It's really frustrating. So that's my update. I'm Ben Plikerd. Make sure to like, comment, give me your stories. Let me know what you've experienced, and have a great day.